Hi everyone, I'm Jansi. Welcome back to our a new session. Actually, we have started our geography lesson 1, that is resources of CBSE 8th class. In the last part 1, we have discussed about the resources, utility or usability, value, time and technology. In continuation to that, today we are going to read about the types of resources. So, in this video, we'll learn about different types of resources and its classification. So, the first and foremost resource is natural resources and human resources and human-made resources. So, the resources are classified into three types. Those are natural resource, human resource, and human-made resource. So first we'll read about the natural resource. Resources that are drawn from nature and used without much modification. Those are termed as natural resources. So the resources which we are getting directly from the nature and we are using it without much modifications, without much changes in that, we are using the resources. Those are termed as natural resources. The example for these are air, water, soil, minerals, etc. So actually, many of these resources are free gifts of nature and they can be directly used. And in some cases, tools and technology may be needed to use a natural resource in the best possible way. So here I have given you the examples of natural resources which are the free gifts of nature and can be used directly. So in this natural resources, it is again classified into different types. So here in this slide, you can see natural resources is further divided into four types. Those are level of development and use, origin, stock, and distribution. So actually in our textbook, they may have discussed only about the stock, but the other three are also important in the further classes, where in the 10th again you'll read about this natural resources of all those types. So just we'll have a glance of this resources based upon the different classification. The first classification, the natural resource is divided into actual and potential resource. So it is based upon the level of development and use. So here you can say a natural resource in what way you're using and how much technology we have developed. Based upon that, it is divided into two types. That is actual resource and potential resource. So if we learn in depth these two natural resources, we have to learn through the differences. So see here I have tabulated that in this slide, that is the resources whose quantity is known are termed as actual resource and the resource whose quantity is not known, those are termed as potential resource. The actual resource are used at present, but the potential resources are not used at present, but it could be used in future. So as we already termed that actual resource, we are using it at present. So in other terms, we can say that the technology is sufficient to use that. But the potential, as we mentioned, it can be used in future because the technology what we are having is not sufficient. But there may be a day when you use this potential resource also when there is advanced technology. For example, I can state you that advanced technology can make a potential into actual resource. For that, I'll give an example that previously the wind energy or the solar energy or the water flowing, these are used for different purposes, just for our day-to-day life uses. For suppose the sun energy is used to dry the things, the seeds, grains, or the puppets, like that. But nowadays, through the solar panels, we are trapping that solar energy and converting it into electricity. We have even the solar, that is what we say, with the use of solar panels, we have the cookers, solar cookers, geysers, and even the traffic lights or the street lights. They were used by trapping this solar energy. How this was possible? Now the technology has been advanced. The same way the wind energy now it is converted into wind electricity. That is what we call as windmills are used to generate the wind energy, and the water flowing by constructing the dams we have made it or produce the hydroelectricity. But here the examples that I have stated that if there is a possibility, then the potential also can be converted into actual resource. So coming to the point here, the actual resource examples are coal in Ruhr region of Germany, petroleum in West Asia, dark soils in Deccan Plateau. When we come to the example of potential resource, that is uranium in Ladakh. Again, the natural resources is divided into abiotic and biotic. It is based on the origin. Origin means from which it has been derived. So here, if the resources have been derived from non-living things, those are termed as abiotic resources. Example for these are soils, rocks, and minerals. So the next difference, that is the other classification of natural resource based on origin, is biotic resource. As we know that bio means life. So the resources which have been originated from living things. For example, all the plant and animal products. Those are all termed as biotic resources. And next is the other very important classification of natural resources is based on the stock. Stock means based on the availability of the resource. So here it is divided into renewable and non-renewable resource. So what are those? These are the very important topics. So based on the stock, the natural resource has been divided into renewable and non-renewable. So renewable resources are renewed or replenished quickly. So here the name itself says you can get it back. and these are unlimited in stock. How much ever you use that, it cannot be decreased. And these kind of resources are not affected by the human activities. Whatever the humans do, it cannot be decreased. For example, solar and wind energy. But there were some factors just like water, soil, and forest once they were renewable, but because of carelessness of human beings, those have been converted or getting converted into non-renewable resource. So the other resource is non-renewable resource. So these are the resources which are limited in stock. Once it is used, it takes thousands of years to get back, which is more than a human lifespan. So these are generally affected by the human activities. Example, you can see coal, petroleum, and natural gas. And next, based on distribution. The natural resources is divided into ubiquitous and localized. So the resources, if it is found everywhere like air, those are termed as ubiquitous. And if they are found only in certain places, those resources are termed as localized. For example, copper ore, iron ore, and gold ores. So here the classification of natural resources has been finished. And next, why these resources are unequal on earth? Because these natural resources depends upon terrain, climate, and altitude. So that is why all the natural resources differs or they are distributed unequally on the earth's surface. Next, the of resources are human made resources. The name itself says that which has been made by the human. So sometimes a natural substances becomes as resource only when the original form has been changed. This can be done only by the human being. Example, iron ore becomes as a resource only when the people know to extract iron, clean it and use it. For the other examples of human resources are buildings, bridges, roads, vehicles, and machinery. Then we'll discuss about the other resource, that is human resource. So what is a human resource? People are the best resource because it is his knowledge, skill, and technology creates more resources. So the human are very important or they are very special resource because it is we humans, we use the best of nature to create more resources by using our knowledge, skill, and technology. So that is why the human resources are very important and special resource to any other country in the world. So here, what is very important for the human resource is education and health. So these play a valuable role in making a human a very good resource. And the next, for that, human resource development is needed. What is that? It improves the quality of people's skill so that they are able to create more resources. So here, as we said, human resource is very important to any country for its development. So it is the duty of the country or the government to improve the people so that they can create more and more resources. So that is termed as human resource development, where it improves the quality of people's skill and in turn it makes the people to create more resources. Thank you everyone. I hope everyone have liked this video. Please share it and like it and subscribe this channel for more videos. We'll continue the next lesson in the next video. Thank you everyone.